When's the last time you did something that you're actually going to remember in 5 years? Mount Washington in the winter, dreaming about it. There's the summit. Yeah, I know what some of you might be thinking. This isn't exactly how the feature-length backpacking videos typically begin, right? They usually are pretty specific formula. Starts at the trailhead, ends at the trailhead. But things are a little different this time. But then again, the end of the last full-length video was a little different too, right? The what did I end up calling that so appropriately? When sub-zero camping goes wrong. Due to things going a little crazy, a little bit of disaster, which you can see in the video. I won't get too deep into it here, but yeah, we got cut a little short on that trip, but I did show you a little bit of what we do afterwards. We went in town and just kind of hung out and everything, and almost immediately when I got home, I started thinking to myself, I need to redeem myself, I need to get back up to New Hampshire sometime before winter is over, and get some sort of mission accomplished, if you will, at least in a little more traditional sense. Last time was fun, but not quite what we set out to do. So it's just me this time, as you can see, in my little hatchback here, and I'll get to why we're starting the video now in a minute. But basically, what's going on? Just got off of work not too long ago, around 4 o'clock, got out of work, and it's Sunday night. I work the weekend. I'm off for the next 2 days, just like most of us get, 2 days in a row. I'm off Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday is actually St. Patrick's Day, but we'll be celebrating it in the mountains. And yeah, we're going to make these 2 days work for us. At least we're going to try. We being me and you, the viewer, since I'm just driving by my lonesome here without Mike and TJ. But what's going to happen is I got a small, brief window of high pressure moving into the White Mountains region, about 9 hours north of where I am now. Again, left work about a half hour south of the great city of Philadelphia. And we're going to drive for about 9 hours, get there around midnight, 1 a.m. And this high pressure system coming in is going to create, hopefully, low winds, warmer temps, and clear skies. Right around Monday morning, and then from there on out, another low pressure is going to start creeping in, and the clouds will come back in, the winds and some snow and stuff. So that's why I'm filming now, to let you know what's going on. Usually I start at the trailhead when there's a little more light, and I update you guys and show you gear and stuff. But I'm probably going to be starting right first thing in the morning while it's still dark. I'm just going to focus on getting on the trail, and we'll catch up then once I actually get moving. I'm going to park at the Pinkham Visitor Center, which I may have to show you when we get back, right? Because it'll be dark in the morning, like I said. Going to park there. Going to head about 2 miles into Harvard Cabin, and there's a caretaker there, and we'll be able to pay 10 bucks, and I'll set up the hammock. So we're still going to be outside, but there will be a caretaker nearby. That's because the Cutler River drainage area where we're going to be, with close access to Mount Washington, is a little more heavily restricted, so you can't just camp anywhere you want, kind of like we did on the last trip. But that's okay. We're going to go. We'll be able to get an avalanche report and weather report from him on his radio. Now, tomorrow I'm actually going to try to summit Mount Washington. I've never done it in winter. This is the last week of winter, and I want to check it off. So I'm going to try to take advantage of that. Go up, set up camp real quick. You go another 2.5 miles, hopefully to the summit, then come back down, chill at camp, have a fun night, relaxed, wake up the next morning, and back to the car and go. Contingency plan, if weather doesn't permit tomorrow, I'm not going to take any stupid risks. I'll turn back. Maybe Monday morning I have an opportunity to head up to the summit instead and just get back to the car later. But that's how it's going to go, 1 night and 2 days. Which brings up the subject, you know, sometimes people tell me, you know, I'm really envious, or I wish that I could do what you do, but just, you know, getting out like that is tough. Or, hey, look, I know usually I do 3 days, 2 nights. I'm a little more creative, but I'm going old school here, just like a lot of my earlier videos. 2 days off. Yeah, I'm 9 hours away from a cool spot, but I'm going to go. I'm going to make it happen. You know, just get in your car and do it. You know, I've said it before, I'll say it again. When's the last time you did something that you're actually going to remember in 5 years. You know, that's why time seems like it passes so fast, at least in my opinion. The further you get into life and routines and everything, not to get too deep on you here, but, you know, make some memories, do some crazy stuff, slow time down, you know, take a little control. I know you got work and family and everything, but the work thing, like I said, you can do some cool stuff in 2 days. And if you're just, you know, kind of get your family on board that, hey, I'm going to have to do something for mental health for myself every once in a while, and get out there. And luckily my wife is very understanding with that. So that's I guess we went off on a spiel on life there, but anyway, back to the matter at hand. I'm driving right now. Like I said, it's about 4 o'clock, and hopefully be there around midnight. Going to show you some new gear on this vid like I usually do, but because of what we're doing, it's going to require crampons, which I will show you once we get out there, and an ice axe, which I'll show you as well. Neither of which I've ever had in any of the videos, so that'll be something new. And then also, again, back to basics, kind of classic style. No crazy steaks or anything, just dehydrated meals like I usually always do. But in this case, to spice things up a bit, I'm actually trying out some food that's been suggested to me by some viewers from a place called Packet Gourmet. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner that I got all from them. I'm going to try it all out. Compared to last time, it's going to be awesome. We're looking at 30 degrees, possibly, for our highs, at least in town, which means it could be high 20s on the summit of Washington, and only going down as low as 10 in town. So probably no sub-zero on this one, which is great. It's going to feel downright balmy. It'll be like a beach vacation up here. So I should be enjoying that. But right now I'm going to buckle down, get my drive on, listen to some podcasts, and get myself up there. Should be a good time. So thanks for joining me. Let's do it. Let's do it. Do it. Do it. All right, well, here we are. Sun is out. We're on the trail. Up about 400 feet so far. It's about 720 or so. About 10-15 degrees so far this morning. Like I said, we're hoping for that to warm up as the day goes on. But trucking along from the Pinkham Notch Visitor Center down there, trying to get my mouth to unthaw so I can speak to everybody. You can see it's really well packed out here. That's because they use this to snowmobile up to do avalanche reports. They come up and check and do a daily report. So really well packed out. As you can see, I don't even have snowshoes, crampons, anything on. Don't have my poles. Hands are free. Everything's on the pack for now. We'll get up to camp, ditch this pack, set up, grab my small pack out of this one, and go light to the summit, hopefully. With all my gear back there, my base weight's around 29 pounds with food and water, maybe a 35-pound pack, something like that. So much better traveling a little lighter with the hammock setup. Got a new set of 0-degree quilts by Hammock Gear. We're going to try those out. Hopefully have a good day. Alright, so perfect. We're not too far down at all from the cabin. Gave my $10 to the caretaker. He showed me around a little bit. Looked at me like I was nuts when I mentioned that I needed a hammock spot, but that's okay. I quite enjoy it. So yeah, we're just going to try to set up And then we'll grab the smaller pack, leave the front pack on here, and get up there. It's up to like 30 degrees. It's about 9 o'clock. Feeling good. So about 2 miles in and about 2.5 to the summit. Alright, about 45 minutes later, site selected. Got the site roughly set up. Can fine tune later, but just want to take advantage of this weather break and get up there while I can. But yeah, we'll set the tarp up a little more later. Got the new hammock gear 0 degree quilt there. We'll tighten that up later, and top quilt as well. I'm just going to let that loft up. Just an open topped Dutch wear hammock and the sock, which will pull over top and keep this protected while we're up there. Not planning on any precipitation, but you never know, so we'll keep that covered up. And then grab the old ice axe, the small little packable pack, which I have some spare gloves, spare mittens, spare hat, water, food, and a little bit of first aid in my emergency, my spot GPS locator. All right, so I think that about covers it. Get this thing covered up, get on the trail. Alright, we are on our way. Pack feels nicely light. We're heading towards the Lion's Head Trail winter route. Very steep right from the get-go. I'm sidestepping my way up to save energy. French stepping, whatever you want to call it, but yeah, very steep. The normal Lion's Head goes through Tuckerman Ravine, but not good for avalanche danger, so this is a more direct route. It'll beat you up a little bit, but a little safer. Just relentless uphill. Really having to use the axe a lot. A couple spots I wouldn't even have minded having 2 of them. And just sidestepping like crazy. If I can give one tip, it's don't waste your energy towing in like that. It's a lot better just to go foot over foot. Takes a lot less energy, at least from what I can tell. And a hell of a lot more grip. Oh man, that sun is out. It's up to like 38 degrees. Hell of a view though. Oh man. wind is kicking up now. Little water break. Whew. This is a beast of an uphill, I'll tell you what. It's rough. At least for me. It's not like I have a lot of experience in crampons or with an ice axe, as usual. This isn't a how-to. It's just how to it's how to watch somebody probably screw up, but we're getting there. Let's see, down in there, that's where the more popular summer route is, in the ravine up through there and up to the summit. That's where actually I went on that Press-a-Cat loop in the summer, but I guess they got tired of dragging people out of there after avalanches, so they made this winter route, which is a lot steeper but keeps you out of the avalanche zone, because all this snow gets blown off of here, collects in here, falls on people's heads every once in a while, so that's no good. You can see the snow's pretty deep, but luckily it's been packed out, so no need for snowshoes at all, which I didn't even bring up here. Left them at camp. Oh, I don't know if I'll ever get up there with that. Guess we made it on top after all. Hawaiian said that is. So, maybe another mile or so. Halfway point. Did we go through here? My crampons are a little heavier. I got steel ones. I have to worry. I can worry a little less about bending them, but they weigh about twice as much. Although, if you were careful, you'd probably be fine with aluminum ones. But, you know. There's the summit. Oh Lord. Just keep on trucking up the snowfield, slowly, one foot in front of the other, making progress. You can see a little bit of that cloudiness over there. I asked this morning if there are any updates to the weather when I got to the cabin, but he didn't really seem to know much more than I did from last night, so that's fine. We'll just assume that it hasn't changed. If he's not if he's not concerned about it, then I'm not. I do believe that's the top right there. My left leg threatening to cramp up pretty bad. Whew. So, trying to take it easy on that. Had some Sour Patch Kids and some water, waiting for that to kick in, and hopefully we're almost there. The view is amazing though. There's Wildcat Range, well, ski resort and Wildcat Range. We went over that last time. Well, not last time, but on a previous trip in August. And there's the Appalachian Trail continuing down there. We came from down in there. All that information was just an excuse to stop walking. Almost there. Here you can see the railroad that we actually took down 3 years ago. Not in operation right now, that's for sure. And this right here is actually where I came up the first time that I ever was on Mount Washington, back in 2011 in August, I believe. Came right up through there and on out and up to the summit. A little bit different now though, just a little bit. much as I wanted to stay up there, well, at some point, got to turn around and head back. It's about 1:30. It was a bit cooler up there. It was in the 20s, although I come right down over the ridge and we're back to 39 degrees, which is perfect. No wind down here, so I'm going to start rehydrating with some cold water. I'm going to try this chicken wrap. I got some tortillas in here. I'm going to let that rehydrate while I walk a little bit further. And then I am hungry. Woo! I'm getting blasted in the face here. Oh yeah. So lunchtime, and then we work our way back to the camp. So calm. I mean, up top was crazy, of course, but other than that, which is to be expected, unbelievably calm, beautiful weather today. Just perfect. Can't ask for any more than this. Looking forward to getting back to camp, setting up. I already think about dinner and I haven't even eaten lunch yet. Good times. It really makes you think though. You saw how crazy that summit was. And just imagine if it's bad down here, what it would be like up there. Incredible. So, could have been much different, but we really lucked out on the weather. And I am very, very happy about that. Now I can't wait to eat. Alright, there it is. I just tried a little bite of it. Good stuff. And I put some extra hot sauce on there. It's got a little bit of celery, it looks like, in there. Can't wait to try it on the actual wrap, but this is going to be pretty good. Better than the Cliff Bar, that's for sure. So this is the kickin' chicken wrap. I'll give you my final analysis later, but just from doing a little taste test real quick, pretty good. Plus I'm so hungry right now that I think it's going to be amazing, especially if I get more snow blown into it. Call me a stick in the mud, but didn't quite feel like sliding down. Didn't feel like taking my crampons off or getting my butt wet. So that was fun to watch them slide though. And you can see over here some ski tracks. Another thing that I won't be doing today. A lot easier going down either way though. That is for sure. Whew. I'll tell you what, I'm about over going downhill. Whew. It's like you summit, you feel like you're done, you're definitely not done. Long way to go. Down everything, he came up. It is steep, 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 steep. See that? Flat ground, or flat enough. The steep stuff is over. I'll tell you what, I'm just about done too. Can't wait to get back to camp. Gotta tell you, catch my breath. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I was at a little bit of a morale low back there for maybe 10-15 minutes. Just got to the final kind of tough spot to get down. I was like, I can't remember how I even got up this. And getting down it looks like a nightmare. At least it's probably not, but I'm just tired and done, and it's just staring at this thing locked up. Couldn't figure out how to get down it. Let a group go past. Kind of watched them, got my spirits up. Realized I can put my ice axe in my pack. and then I just did it. But now I feel amazing. Home sweet home. Doesn't look like anybody else is down here. Smart people are probably in the cabin, right? They got a nice little stove in there for heat. I think I only run it for a certain period each day, but it felt pretty good when I went in there this morning. Feel good. It's 4:17. I waited a little while for that group to go by. When I was having my lockup there. I'll tell you what, I said I'll watch how they go by, and then it dawned on me as they're going by, it was like a guided tour. You know, they probably paid a few $100 a piece, couple hundred a piece, I don't know. So I'm like, all right, let me see how they do this. And they bust out a rope. They go down the rope. I'm like, oh, I'm so jealous. And I knew they weren't going to offer me the rope, and I don't blame them, really. I mean, if they offered to help every person on the trail that didn't bother to pay for a guide like me, they'd never get where they need to with their clients who are paying good money. So I get it, but believe me, it's painful to watch that rope get untied and slither away. But I did watch them, and they did remind me to put my ice axe just in my backpack there. I don't really have loops on this little pack, so I'm like, damn, I have to hold it. But wait, no, I'll just slide it down my back. So just wasn't thinking straight, I guess. But I'm back now. I'm back. So this here is the water hole. I'm actually standing on a little running body of water here. And I actually came back here with Ned, who's the caretaker here. Awesome guy. And watched him do his upkeep on this. So he's got an axe over there. I'll open this up in a minute, but there's a hole under there. He keeps the area nice and well groomed. And I'm just going to fill up my Sawyer squeeze bag, 'cause it's, you know, convenient for me to fill water into, along with my little scooper, just to cut up water bottle, open it, fill my water out of that, and no melting snow. Best $10 I ever spent. And I was telling him I probably would have spent $10 on fuel melting snow, and spent twice as much, 3 times as much time. So this is pretty cool. I'm gonna dip in here, get some water, make some chili from Packet Gourmet, and we'll see how that goes. Alright, so we got a little water. Let me show you around camp while I'm here. Here's what I got going on so far. Fine-tuning a little bit as I go and working on things, but let me show you around. I see I got the tarp kind of wide open there. I'll get to that in a minute. Let's talk about the water first. Obviously, this is in my dirty water bag, plus it's right out of the stream, but the idea is I'm going to bring everything to a boil, because I'll either cook with it, or it's nice to have hot water to start with for my drinking water anyway. I can either make hot tea or put it in my bottle, and it'll take that much longer to freeze, because it still is 30 degrees right now, and it's only going to get lower, but I'm hoping maybe 10 tonight or something. So I'll do that with my rapid fire stove, do my chili there, try that out. You see it's got the chili mix. I got some corn chips hiding in there and some more hot sauce right on. See how that goes. A little mac and cheese if I feel like I need some more calories than that. I'll just put some hot water in that. The chicken wrap, by the way, earlier I was a little impatient on that first wrap. When I got into it, the celery was a little crunchy. Not anybody's fault but my own, because I didn't give it long enough to steep or rehydrate. So I ate one wrap, I left the rest in the bag, as you could see, and I walked with it to camp here, busted it out. Perfect. So it was good stuff. Nice little wrap as an hors d'oeuvre, if you will. yeah, I got my tarp wide open. That's the hammock gear Cuban fiber tarp. A little under 6 ounces, plus the lines brings me to 8 ounces. Love that thing. You can see I have it wide open, okay? I'm not anticipating wind being a real issue tonight, and I'm also not anticipating the temperatures getting anywhere near the capabilities of my 0-degree underquilt, coupled with the fact that I have that sock on there, which gave me ridiculous results out of my 40-degree quilt set. So with a 0, I think it's going to be awesome. So basically, I think between the quilts and the sock, that's going to keep me warm enough and keep enough wind off of me. I'll keep my vent side away from where the wind's coming from, which ironically is from here, which seems kind of stupid because I'm open this way, but it's just because my common area is here. So this is really just to keep any falling, blowing snow off of me, or potentially any snow that might come down tonight. Just a little added insurance right there. But not really worried about wind, and if I'm wrong, well then I'll share the results with you, because we'll see, because I'll basically be getting hit with wind right here. So we'll see how that does with 0-degree hammock gear quilts, pardon me, frozen tongue, and the Dutch wear sock. Send a message to my wife, told her this is where I'm camping. What else we got going on? Oh, the crampons. This is Camp brand, same brand as my shovel. You can probably maybe tell by the colors. I picked these up like 90 something bucks. They are universal crampons. I'll probably do a separate video on these, but I'll be the first to admit that I wasn't fully aware of this before. I just never thought about it. But most crampons are meant to use with plastic boots for like legit ice climbing. My flexible boots would not work with them. But if you get universal crampons, which are what these are Camp Stalker Universals. They have a little flex in them, so I can use them with my regular boots. They worked great. I can adjust them using the little slides there. You saw how they were laced earlier, and then they get pretty compact like that. They are about £1 a piece. Now my micro spikes, which are no comparison to these as far as traction, they were around 12 ounces. So, you know, some additional weight there, but a ridiculous amount of extra traction. I would have been screwed if I had micro spikes today. Also had the axe that you saw several times. Right now it's just holding down the corner of what will be my couch, which is just kind of hollowed out the side of this snowdrift, and got a little piece of Tyvek and a piece of Reflectix. This is like the stuff that you insulate a heater with. And there's my like 4-ounce couch. So I got that going for me. My hiking poles I haven't even really used, but I did use one over there just to kind of adjust the angle of that one line. Oh, and speaking of which, let me show you, since we're on a roll here. I upgraded, a little over the top, but it's fun. My cinch buckles, I showed you that video before. These are titanium, so they're like near weightless cinch buckles, and I find the cinch buckle system just very nice and easy for winter, wearing gloves and stuff. It was super simple to hang up, and with the weight of all my other gear, it really didn't make a huge difference to do that. Plus, I went to the Poly D hammock, the red one you saw. That actually saved me a couple ounces, so that's cool. The snowshoes I really haven't actually touched, except for, and this is why I'm glad I brought them, because I just used crampons on the trails above tree line today, but around here, to stomp out some of this area without falling in, I did use the snowshoes. So the MSR Denali Ascents came in handy for that, very briefly, but glad I had them. And plus they also made a nice shovel to bury these, which I will mention. All my lines, because I'm not too worried about wind getting too crazy, I just wrapped around some branches, didn't put a whole lot of effort into it, and just buried those branches down in the snow, and those would be my little dead man anchors to keep the tarp in place. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna start cooking dinner and just hanging out and enjoying myself. You can see I got my 2 bags hanging up there perfectly on a tree. The bag that I was my fast pack that I was rolling with up Washington today, and then my main pack there just hanging and readily accessible. So there you go. I think it's dinner time. But before dinner, here comes the painful part, but necessary, as I've learned because I've skipped it before. changing out all the clothes. In this yellow bag I got spares and changes of everything. Sucks to carry the weight, but there they all are. And sure enough, I didn't think it was, but when I take them off, these are wet. This clothing is wet, and if I get in my bag tonight, I'm going to be wet. Not good for down, not good for warmth. And I'll probably be blaming my bag, but I should have just changed into fresh, dry underwear. I haven't upgraded all my gear to merino wool, so I wore merino wool during the day, not this, but my long underwear, because it performs still pretty good when it's wet. This is synthetic, which does as well, but not quite as nice, but it'll be great for sleeping in. And we'll get a new t-shirt on, and yeah, enough of that. I'm freezing, so I think my shirt's on backwards. All right. Whew. The one thing I'm not going to switch into yet, which believe me I want to, it sucks because I'm about to take my boots off, I'm not going to switch into my spare sock liners and spare socks. Just me personally, which everything I'm saying, by the way, is me personally. There's better ways to do it, I'm sure, and if you got it, share it. But yeah, anyway, back to socks. I like to wait until I get in bed and put on absolutely fresh socks. If I'm doing a multi-day trip, I'll keep dry socks for every night of sleeping, if possible. Because my boots are still wet from sweat and stuff, and I'm still going to be hanging out around camp, so I'm going to wait till the last minute on the socks. I also have a spare hat that I use just for sleeping. It's a lighter weight fleece, because this hat is soaking up sweat too. I might put that on. It depends, but you also see I got my down coat on now. So synthetics, obviously, they work when they're wet, but that doesn't mean that they don't work better when they're not. And then also, just because they work when they're wet, if I put on my down coat or start laying in my down bag, I'm transferring that moisture, and down does not like moisture. So that's kind of my philosophy on that. So anyway, I'm going to get out of these boots and put on fresh long underwear, synthetic, as well as I'm kind of sitting on them, but right now I have EMS hiking pants on, the same ones I wear in summer, underneath of this kind of tracksuit thing that's waterproof. And I'm going to switch from that into the same exact thing, only with a fleece lining, just to hang out around camping. That should be nice and comfy. Alright, enough about clothing. Let's talk about food. What have we got to do here? Alright, looks like prepping bag, heat 12 ounces of water, which is 354 milliliters. I have a 450 ml cup, so I will almost fill that, I guess. Meanwhile, open the chili pouch. That's this. Remove the moisturizer thing. That's that. Alright, so I'll take that out. There's that. Then I'm going to empty that into the larger bag that everything was originally packed in. Easy enough. Pour my water in, let it steep for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to top it with corn chips. Look at that. Some crushed Fritos. Oh my god. And the cheese, which I think I just add a couple drops of water to that and it wakes up. And then I have hot sauce if I want to spice it up, which I do. Oh, I can't wait. Let that preheat tube get nice and red hot, because when we flip this, we'll go into vaporization mode, and that ain't going to happen without a hot tube. When it hits that tube, it'll turn from a liquid into a gas, which is important, because you know, otherwise you have a flamethrower. That's not good. All right, I see some red hot metal. Let's do this. Chili on the way, people. Maintaining. Now, for efficiency's sake, we do not want to, oh man, throwing me off balance there. We do not want to jack the stove all the way up on maximum. It's not going to do anything but waste fuel. I have a little patience. I got a little 4-ounce half-size canister here. I don't want to run out, which I don't think I will. I'm not melting stuff. But anyway, don't jack it up and just burn fuel. You're actually going to get much better results. There we go. If we go in a moderate setting, I'm nowhere near full open on this. At least in my personal experience, that works well. Pop this around there. Let's actually make that a little tighter. And it's just a titanium 3-cup pot, so I filled it halfway. Turned out to be easier math than my 450 pot. And now we just wait for a boil, and we get our Texas on. Well, that took like no time at all. Now, of course, editing is in play, but literally, that didn't take any time. A couple minutes. Gotta love that. I think I'll heat some water up for mac and cheese next, but let's dump this in there. Get that rehydrating. And get another batch of water going for my mac and cheese. Screw it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to want to eat it all. And the rest I can use for hot tea. Oh yeah. Get that going. Now I think they sell their own little cozy, but I'm just going to put in the same one I always use. It's the Reflectix, the same stuff that I'm sitting on for my makeshift couch. Oh yeah. Now, just to take it to the next level, why not? I was already in my little cozy there. And then there's my seat I sit on, but I always carry a little binder clip, wrap it around there, clip it, and you got a little extra layer of heat retention. Little chilly microwave going on there. Pop that in the old microwave as well. There you go, very carefully. Let that steep. Add a little cheese sauce powdered mix. Living healthy today, people. Alright, the waiting is over. Let's see what we're working with. I cut the top off with my pocket knife because it was pretty long, which was good for rehydrating, but now I want to get into it. Put my cheese on there, and the corn chips, the Fritos. Oh, it smells amazing. I already licked the spoon and the flavor was just like ridiculous. Mm. Oh. I'm not making this up. I bought this myself. I know I'm really hungry too. Let's take that into consideration. But I bought this myself on viewer recommendations. Oh God, hold on. Oh my God. It tastes so real. It's not like super thick and saucy. And not in the way that like you add too much water to a mountain house. But it's like, dude, I don't know. That's legit. I'm not saying it's the same as, because it's not. Let's not be ridiculous here, but I was just in Dallas. Actually, Fort Worth with my wife. This is, like, they're not lying. This is a Texas-style chili. Although, it does have beans in it, so it's kind of a Yankee thing. I am a Yankee, though, so it's fine. It's so good. Anyway, this is amazing. I'm very happy right now. So, I'm going to keep chowing down on this. Good morning, everybody. It's about 7:30. Set my alarm for that. Nice to sleep in. Went to bed before 10. Even that's actually kind of late, but I was just hanging out, stuffing my face for a while. But got plenty of sleep. As you can see, I did forget to put on my sleeping hat. I'm still wearing my white one, but if that's the worst thing that happens on this trip, I think I'm okay with that. But really comfortable last night. I mean, this incubator, the 0 degree set, ridiculous. Now, it was only like 30 degrees when I went to bed, and I was actually too warm at one point in this. It wasn't a problem. I just kicked the leg out and just pulled the blanket to the side, just like you would at home. If you were in bed, pull the blanket to the side a little bit, and it was fine. And then I imagine it probably dipped down Not sure what it got down to. I'll have to check when I get home, but probably got a bit colder. At one point, I felt the need to tuck myself back under the blanket, but I'm telling you, having that huge 0-degree quilt underneath, you can see it wraps up on the side of me real nice here. Just really nice. And from what most guys say, the more important of the two is going to be your underquilt, kind of like your mattress at home. You can have just a sheet on because you got a big old thick insulator underneath of you. So kind of the same idea with this. So in different weather, you could probably I might even bring the 0-degree, but like a lighter top quilt just to save weight, and I can experiment with combinations like that. But worked really great. This Poly D hammock, this new red one I got, my brown one was argon, slightly different material from Dutchware. It has less stretch. I think I like it more. It just works really well for me. Felt very comfortable, and it fits snug inside my underquilt here, perfect, without any additional lines or clips or anything. It just really is conforming perfectly. And the sock is great, as usual. I do have the vent open right now, as you can see there, but I did have that spun to the side, just by pulling it. Had that spun to the side last night, just to keep some heat in here. Speaking of which, I don't know if you can see that, a little snow last night. Started around 2 or 3 a.m. I started hearing that come down. I wasn't sure exactly what it was, how wet it was at first, so I hopped out, grabbed my stuff, my bag and stuff off the tree, drug everything under the tarp, and then got back in, fell asleep. So perfect night. All right, time to get a little breakfast going. I've gotten myself together here, put some outer shell on to keep the snow off of me, and time to cook up a little Memphis grits souffle. We'll see how that goes. I don't know if anything can beat that chili last night, but we'll see. I ran up and got some more water. Trying to get the stove going. I will give you a little quick, at least just a tip in my experience, and it may just be a quirk of this stove, or it probably might apply to other stoves as well, I would imagine. Sometimes when I connect my canister to the stove and I listen real closely, put it up next to my ear, I can hear a little hissing, and that's not good. Fuel leakage there. And I found that in cold weather, and this morning it's about 30. It may not be so bad, but what I figured out was it's basically just a little O-ring in there. It's either that O-ring, most likely that one, possibly the gasket in there, but I think it's the O-ring in here. It just gets a little not quite so tacky when it's super cold, or just cold in general. So I just put a little breath on it. A little hot morning breath. Nothing like that. Just to preheat it a little bit. Blow the snow out of there. I had to dig the snow out of it already, but just warm it up. And then this way, and don't tighten it too much or you'll screw things up as well. Put your ear next to it, check it, and then free to light the stove without any worry of either wasting fuel or, even worse, any sort of flame jumping onto your actual canister if it was leaking that bad. That wouldn't be fun, would it? There's our mix, our grits. Got a little bit of cheese in there, some jalapenos, some onion, corn on here as well. Monterey Jack cheese. All right. Looking forward to getting that going. It looks like we put it in. We give it 5 minutes. Then we mush it up a bit, break up the larger pieces. 5 more minutes and we should be in grits heaven. And there is the finished product. Now I'm sure it doesn't look like much. I mean, it's grits. So without actually being here and tasting it, you're missing out. But I already tried a few bites of it, and it is really good. It's nice to have a nice hot meal, and I'll tell you what, that's 3 out of 3. I like them all. Chili was definitely my favorite. This is a great breakfast. The really fresh taste of the corn comes through. I mean, it's nice. To tell you the truth, I've been eating so good on this trip. Almost No, never mind. I don't feel guilty about getting a burger after this. No. Got some hot coffee going on there. And then we'll slowly break the campsite down. You can probably see I did kind of take it out of porch mode. I ended up just deciding to do that last night. I pitched it down to the ground. Was actually able, you can't even see it, to use a regular tent spike because it's so hard packed in this area that obviously has been used for a tent before, it looks like. So spike went in just like I would in dirt. Kicked a little snow over it. It's good to go. That kept the blowing snow off of me last night. Just to keep all my gear from getting too messed up underneath there. And speaking of the tarpon suspension, let me just point out something real quick that I kind of been bugging me. I showed in one of my previous videos, the Cranberry Wilderness ultralight backpacking video, I showed these Dutch clips here which allow you to adjust the strap real quickly on the tree. But in that video I showed this bent around the other side and it was making a hard kind of angle off of this, and not the way you should do it. Puts way too much stress on the line. So I apologize for kind of portraying that incorrectly, and hopefully nobody is messing up their straps because of that. I mean, I actually slept like that a couple times, and it's not like I had a failure, but you don't want to do that over the long run. So see the way I have it coming just right off the tree there. Get as little stress on this line as possible. Actually, that's probably, yeah, like that. Now before, when I showed it to you, I think I had it like this, making that really hard angle there and just way too much stress there. So I apologize. Just wanted to clear that up and show you a better way to do that. So we'll get that broken down after breakfast and probably get back on the trail here. Alright, we are back on the trail out. Just going to do about 2 miles down here and we'll be back at Pinkham Visitor Center. Nice thing down there is they do have a pack room and bathrooms, and I can get changed in the changing area, and it's a pretty nice little base of operations they have down there. It's in the still in the mid to high 30s, so that's great. It's certainly treating my GPS a lot better. Compared to last time when I ripped through 2 sets on like the first day in the sub-zero temps. I'm still not even halfway through my first set of batteries, so that's good. I will be posting on my website the GPS track data for this trip, although it's pretty straightforward, you know, what I did on a map. Nothing too crazy as far as the route, but feel free to check that out if you want. But man, you can see considerably less visibility today, so we really did take advantage of that window of high pressure that gave us that calmness and clear skies yesterday. So now we're just heading back down here. Probably not a lot of views, but I think we got what we could yesterday, that's for sure. So I actually just ran into another hiker. Came down behind me. We were both looking at that waterfall back there. Just talking about what we were doing. Told him I went up yesterday and everything. He said, I guess he actually went up early this morning and to try Washington, but got above tree line and said, nah, don't think so. So sounds like it's a little bit rougher up there today. You never know. Which brings up a good point. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but don't think just because I got basically a near perfect situation yesterday, you got to be prepared for craziness. It's not necessarily going to be like that if you try to do it yourself. So at least just have everything you need. Like, I didn't even need goggles yesterday, but I had them. Layers, spare clothing, all that stuff, because you might go up there, even if it's forecasted to be like that, and it could be totally different. Just think back to some of the trips that Mike and I have done. And that wasn't even on Washington, and it was brutal. So you never know what you're going to get up here in the Whites, that's for sure. We should be getting close to the parking lot soon. Wrap this up, get a little something to eat, and hit the road home. Well, he wasn't shy, was he? And here we go. I do believe I see the silver V dub. So, looks like we made it. Mission complete. Truly mission complete. I would, it was a quick trip, kind of a blitz, up real quick, but it was worth it. Got my redemption. Closed out the season nice. I'm very happy. Not only that, but it took 3 years of dreaming about it, thinking about it, getting the right gear and whatnot. And I finally did Mount Washington in the winter, albeit right towards the end, but in the winter. So good deal. But right now I'm going to get this stuff off. I'm going to go in here, say hi to the turkey again, I guess, on the way in, get cleaned up a little bit, changes it to some different clothing, and go get a little something tasty. So until next time, I'm Syntax77, and right now it's cheeseburger time.